Hello friends, today's lecture is on master slave configuration. Master slave configuration. JK flip-flop. So before understanding the master slave configuration of JK flip-flop, first let's once again consider the circuit in which we have a racing condition. Okay, the circuit was something look like this. This was the circuit. So we have AND gate here, NAND gate. We have NAND gate here, and then we have a latch, something like this. We have a latch like this. This is, let's say, Q, and let's say this is Q bar. We have a clock here, and one more feedback is given like this. So this was the circuit which has a racing condition. Now we understand why there is a racing condition in this circuit. Okay, so we know that when this clock is 0, when the clock is low, meaning when this is 0, this will always be 1 and 1. Whenever the clock is 0, does not matter whatever the feedback, whatever this input is, whatever the feedback is. Let's say we call it a J star and K star. Okay, so does not matter, independent to J star, K star, independent to the feedback. Since this will be 1 and 1, always, as far as the clock is 0 or enable is 0. This will always be 1 and 1, which will keep the output in a memory state. No problem. There is no problem in this. Understanding is very easy. If as far as this is 0, this will be 1 1, and because we know that this is a NAND latch, in NAND latch 1 1 is a memory state. No problem. What will happen if you have this is 1? Okay, so now I am explaining the racing condition. If this is 1 and this is also 1 and this is also 1, what will happen? The output here, this output now, the output here will depend upon this feedback. If let's say initially this is 0 and let's say this is 1. So since this 0 is here, one of the input of a NAND gate is 0, this will be 1, and since here all three are 1, so the output will be 0. So here you have a 0 and 1. And this 0 and 1 will change the output to 1 and 0. And since the clock is still 1, let's say this is something like this. Let's say the clock is something like this. This is your clock, let's say. And let's say that initially the output was 0, and what we have seen is when the clock is low, right now we have seen when the clock is low, it will remain in a memory state, meaning it will remain in a 0. As soon as the clock becomes 1, then this output will become 1 to 0. That means the output will become 1. As soon as the output will become 1 and 0, since the feedback is continuously there, and the clock is 1, this 1 will go here, and then this 0 will go here, which will make this 1, and which will make this 0. Since this feedback is continuously there, this output will continuously change depending upon the delay of the circuit. So you have a 1 and 0 now, and 1 and 0 you will get the output 0 and 1. So immediately the output will become 0. Now after some delay, this 0 and 1 is also coming here again. It will become 1, it will become 0, it will become 1, it will become 0, and since 0 1 will make it 1 and 0. Like this. and so on. So this is how the racing is working, meaning the output is a feedback for these two NAND gates, and since the outputs are feedback to these two NAND gates and the clock is continuously high, the analysis is continuously going on, the processing is continuously going on in the circuit, which changes again and again the output from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0 or 1 0 to 1 like this. Now, this is something not controllable phenomena. Continuously the output is going changing. We cannot use this in a circuit. What we want is, let's say initially the output is 0, and let's say if it toggles only once, let's say the output change only once, then this controlled phenomena can be used somewhere in the circuit. So how to do that? How to do that? So the output feedback is coming here and continuously the processing is going on, which changes the output. So somehow we need to restrict the circuit in such a way that the output get changed only once, and after the output changes only once, the processing should stop somehow. Okay, so the one method of doing this is a master-slave configuration. Now, after remembering this, that how the racing is happening, we will understand the concept of a master-slave configuration. How in a master-slave configurations, what you do is, let's say this, and let's say you have like this. Okay, let's say in a master-slave configuration, what we do is, we take two such blocks. Like this. Okay, like this and like this, like this, and we have one more NAND gate here, and we have a clock. Here also we have a clock, and let's say the feedback is coming from here now. Just see this block or this circuit carefully. What we have done is, we have made here one latch, let's say controlled latch, here also one controlled latch, but now instead of giving the feedback from here, we have given the feedback to the first this latch, and let's say we call it a master latch and we call it a slave latch. Okay, and let's say the clock is given in such a way that the clock is given directly here, whereas the clock is given after inverting to the slave latch. This is very important. Here is the trick. Now, what is happening if the clock is 0? What does it mean? If the clock is 0, this will be 0, meaning this will remain in a memory state till this point. And since the clock is, after inverting, we are feeding into the slave, so the clock will be 1 here, meaning at the time this will be active. So it does not matter if you are giving a feedback, this feedback is not going to appear here, because this output, because of this 0, this output will remain constant, will remain same as far as the clock is 0. Because if the clock is 0, it does not matter if you are giving the feedback here, will not change, because if it is 0 it will be 1 1, and this will remain in a memory state. If this will remain in a memory state, the output will not change. And when the clock is 1, this circuit will behave like an active state, and this will be in a memory state, because this will be 0. If this will be 0, the output here will again become constant. So meaning in both the situation, the output will become here a constant. Okay, let's understand it, the circuit one by one. So let's understand the case of 1 1 1, meaning let's say this is J, this is K, okay, and let's say the clock is 1. In earlier circuit, when the clock was 1, J was 1, K was 1, there was a racing condition. Now let's consider the same case, clock, J, K, and let's say what will be the Q and Q bar. Let's understand. So let's say the clock is high, J is high, K is high. Earlier it was racing. Now we have to see what will happen. So let's say the clock is 1. So definitely this will be 1. Let's say J is 1, K is 1. And let's say the output is 0 and QR is 1. So this 0 is here and the 1 is here. Okay, but since this clock is 1, this will be always 0, and we know that if this will be 0, this has to be at 1 and 1, and if this will be 1 and 1, definitely the output will remain 0 and 1. Okay, now let's analyze it. So when this is 1, now this is 0, this is 1, so 1 is coming here. So these three 1 will make this is a 0. Okay. And this 0 will make it here 1. Okay. So this is the case when the clock is high. The clock is high. And we have assumed that initially the output was 0 and 1. So when the clock is high, this becomes 0 and 1. And since we know that this is a NAND latch, in NAND latch if our input is 0 and 1, the output is always 1 and 0. But this 1 and 0 appear here, but it will not change the output. This is very important. Since 1 and 0 has been appeared here, but the clock is 0, this will remain in a memory state. Earlier, as soon as this becomes, because this Q and Q bar was the feedback of this circuit only, and the output we were taking from here. So this becomes from 0 to 1, there becomes now 1 and 0, and then the circuit, the feedback was going back to the circuit, again it becoming 0 and 1, and that's why we are getting the racing conditions. Now what we have done is we have restricted this output. Because of this output, the changes occurring here till this point, but they are not getting at this point, but they are not reflecting at this point, because the slave is in a memory state right now. So because of this feedback, the changes occurs only till this point. They have not transferred here. Okay. Now, as far as the clock will remain 1, if the initial output was 0 1, it will remain 0 1. But because of this 0 1, you have now here 1 0, which can transfer here and then can change the output or not depending upon this value, but only when this will become 1. Okay, now let's say the clock goes from 1 to 0. As soon as the clock goes from 1 to 0, this will become 0 and this will become 1. Sorry, this will become 1. Okay, now since this becomes 0, so this becomes 0, and this becomes 1 1. And 1 1 is a memory state, and what is the state? State is 1 0. So because of this 1 1, this 1 0 will remain 1 0. They will not going to change. This is very important. This 1 0 cannot change. Now because since here you have a 1 1. So when the clock was high, because of this 0 1, you have appeared a 1 0, and it will remain 1 0 when the clock goes low. But what happened? As soon as the clock goes low, this becomes 1. The clock of the slave latch becomes 1. Then the slave latch will be in active mode. And this 1 and 0, and since this is 1, so 1 and 1 will make it 0, and this 1 0 will make it 1. So you have a 0 1 here now. And since you have a latch here, which is the NAND latch, in NAND latch if you have a 0 1, the output has to be 1 and 0. Meaning, initially what you have assumed, Q equal to 0, it remains 0 till the time the clock goes positive, high. As soon as the clock goes negative, immediately the output changes from 0 to 1. Now we have to see that whether again the output is changing or it will remain same. So now since this 1 and 0 is here, this will appear at here, this will become 0, and since this is 1, 1, this will become 1. But since when the clock is low, this is in a memory state. Does not matter if you are changing here, this is not going to change because you have a clock 0. Because you have a clock here 0, this will remain 1 1. What does it mean? If the clock low period will for the 5 minutes, the output will remain as a high. So the output will remain as a high. Because now these changes are not getting transferred here. They are till here only. Okay. So now the output has toggled only once in one's clock period. However, as soon as the clock goes again high, immediately this 1 will appear here, this 0 will appear, already appeared here. As the clock goes high, this will become high, and because of this 0, this will become 1, and because of all three 1, this will become 0. You have a 1 0 here. Because of 1 0, you have the output 0 1. As soon as the clock goes high, this, because of the output, this state gets changed. But since the clock goes high, this will be 0. This will be in a memory state. So the output will remain 0. 1. The output will remain 1. Again, if the clock will go low, then this changes. Whatever the changes occurred has at the output of the master flip-flop, they will appear at the slave flip-flop as soon as the clock goes 0. As soon as the clock goes 0, this becomes 0. It becomes 0. This becomes 1 1. And since this becomes 1, this 0 and 1, because of this 0 1 you have, because of this 0 1 you have a 1 here, and because of this 1 1 you have a 0 here. Immediately because of 1 0 you have the output 0 1, meaning again the output toggle. What does it mean? It means always at the negative edge of the flip-flop, negative edge of the clock, the output is getting toggled 0 to 1, and then it remains 1 till the next negative edge will come, and then it will toggle. So what we have done in this circuit is we have restricted the racing condition, and this is what we want. But what we have also done in this, we have increased the hardware. Okay, so to avoid the racing condition in this, so we can make a truth table here. So when the clock is low, okay, the J and K does not matter, whatever it is, it will remain in a memory state. Okay, and the circuit is behaving like when a negative edge of the clock is coming, at the time the changes are occurring. Meaning when a positive high level is coming, the changes are till at the output of the master flip. As soon as the negative, as soon as the low level is coming, these changes get appeared here. So this seems that the changes are occurring at the negative edge only. Whenever the output changes from high to low, then the changes are happening. So if the negative low, the rest of the truth table remains same as of the previous circuit we have studied. So 0 0 is in memory, again no problem. 0 1, there is 0 1, 1 0, there is 1 0, and 1 1. This is very important. Now you have a toggle action. You have a toggle action, but you have get this toggle actions with this extra circuitry, or you can call it this extra circuitry. Okay, so in this what we have done is we have used large area. Number one, we have paid more for this extra circuitry, and then we have converted the racing condition into toggling action. Okay, so this is something disadvantage of master slave. In case of a master slave, what we have done is we have increased the area. Number one. Number two, we have paid some extra cost for this circuit, but what we have done is we have converted this into toggle. The 1-1 condition, which was a racing condition in earlier circuit, we have converted this into toggling action. Okay. One more thing I wanted to emphasize here, that if you see the truth table carefully, these two rows are for the storing applications. This is for the memory. This is for the toggling actions. Okay. So what we can do is we can have a D flip flop. Okay. Instead of a JK flip flop, we can have a D flip flop where J and K. So this is J, this is K, and you have a clock here. Okay, since for memory applications you require only these two rows and this rows, so you have a clock, and for these two rows J and K is always complement of each other, so we can tie up J and K with an inverter. Okay, and we can call it a D, and you have a Q and Q bar. This is known as D flip flop. If we only want the toggling action to be done, for some applications, if we want only toggling action to be done, what we can do is we can have a J and K flip flop, and we can tie up both. We can tie, because T is for toggling, and this is your clock. This is your clock. This is your clock. This is Q and Q bar. Like this. So you have a JK flip flop, you can have a D flip flop, you can have a T flip flop like this. Okay. And since this master slave configurations, we having like a you can use here somewhere. You can use here a negative edge trigger. It's a negative edge trigger basically, because in a master slave configuration the changes appears or seems to be at negative edge when the clock is going from high to low, so we can use here a bubble. Okay, so now in master slave configurations we have added an extra circuit, we have added an extra cost. Okay, so there is another method, so that the Q and Q bar will change only once in a 1 clock period, and that method is known as an edge detector method. Okay, so instead of a level triggering flip flop, we can have a edge trigger flip flop. That we will see in the next section. Thank you.